Fossabit says, I am a savage creator is now live streaming just chatting, 49ers face-off Chiefs aftermath. Stream Elements says, I am a savage creator is now live streaming just chatting, 49ers face-off Chiefs aftermath. I am a savage creator says, silence support the stream up and set your notifications peasants, Discord IIS now up go join the squad to network and work together, link.
All right, so um 49ers end up losing to the Kansas City Chiefs quite convincingly. This reminds me of the Harbaugh last year when he was coaching. I'm not saying Kyle Shanahan is going to get fired this year. I don't think they would do that. He just made it to the Super Bowl last year. But kind of everything that vibe that the 49ers are starting to, it's starting to rear its other ugly head where the teams, chemistry and talent has been. And I think that, it started with signing all these every big player. All the big players, and everybody's like, oh, that's great. But then it started with getting rid of a quarterback that you never really gave a chance to. Trey Lance. And everybody's, oh, we don't need Trey Lance. He needs a lot of work. But you guys, now we're at the point where you're playing a quarterback with a ceiling. What happens when you have to play honest football? Are you able to compare to you have a all pro, well, you have an all multi-talented quarterback, which Trey Lance, like a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, even Patrick Mahomes at times make you play 11-on-11 football. And it's one of those things where, what are you going to do? And Shanahan has trouble against man defenses. Before we go into stat lines and stuff like that, Brock Purdy is not an elite quarterback. I have said this. If you don't believe me, you can go to my VOD, and I covered this several times, how Brock Purdy is not an elite quarterback. I keep telling people, but you guys say, oh, winning. But I knew way I felt that it was going to not last. Eventually, we're going to run into issues. And we did. Pretty much, you just got Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, that's pretty much what you did. You took one guy out. You got a younger Jimmy Garoppolo, and you replaced him with another, with the even younger Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's pretty much what Brock Purdy is. He's just like Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, I would say Jimmy Garoppolo probably has a better arm, stronger arm, but about Purdy, even his throws, they seem like they're short. They're never in stride. When I watched the game, I was like, man, his throws never seem in stride. They're there in the vicinity, but these receivers that Shanahan they drafted, a lot of them have seem like they make the turnaround, they have to catch it, you know what I mean, or they make the extra be on the play, whether it's Kittle. Um, since the end of the first quarter, it kind of felt like um, there wasn't gonna be um, you know it wasn't gonna be a win. If Brandon Ayuk gets hurt, and then what else happens? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think it would have mattered if and I'm being perfectly clear with you. I don't think it would have mattered if I got hurt or not. The way that the game was looking, um, and but I hope Brandon Ayuk is okay. I'm gonna show you guys. Um, we're gonna go over the score and the stat line and everything. Um, but hopefully he's gonna be recovered, doing back to good, decent recovery. Um, just going over, some of the scores. I felt like Patrick. The Chiefs are not very good as far as talent wise, but they have the best coaching in the league. They are able to take what they have and find the individual players' little strengths and make them stand out. You know, and it just seemed like the Chiefs wanted it more. You know, and the biggest issue was Brock Purdy's 3 interceptions. They were all terrible interceptions. Reminded me of that's what I said. Reminded me of Jimmy Garoppolo. Reminded me of this is what happens when you draft a quarterback uh, uh, late in the seventh round. You get a quarterback in the seventh round, and eventually they get exposed after a certain amount of time. We've seen throughout the whole season, we've seen Brock Purdy do this little act where he rolls out and tries to spin around and tries to do his Russell Wilson impersonation. And he is not Mahomes. He is not Russell Wilson. He is not Lamar Jackson. He is a average to sometimes above average quarterback, depending on who they play. And teams are going to, every time they play Shanahan next week, they are going to run that man-to-man cover. They're gonna run man. They're gonna go against man-to-man cover. They know that Shanahan's gonna do man-to-man coverage, and they're gonna eat Shanahan's defense up. Special teams is definitely awful. I don't know why this guy still has a job. Um, so let's go into the stat line. Um, let's go here. Let's go to that. That's definitely the wrong game. Uh, let's see. Let's go here. All right, so it's 2018, but it was not even close the whole time. You could just tell. Um, Kareem Hunt played well, as good as he can. The one thing the Chiefs did do, and I thought that the 49ers would shut this down, is the Chiefs exploited the middle of that D line, and they exploded. They knew that with all the injuries and they knew that, hey, we're gonna run up the middle. They were not afraid to. Even seen on some third downs or some first down runs, you could see they were going to go up the middle regardless. Um, uh, some of the tackling on those plays were kind of bad. Um, Patrick Mahomes, prime example, when they were at the half a yard or yard line, and you could see he just drop back and look, and it was literally a clear vision. There was no penetration from the D line. There was a little bit of pressure, but not enough to effectively the whole game. The
Fossabit says, 90-second ad break now running. Thank you for your support.
so it's just things I've seen, and like if you look at the stat line, you can see Kareem Hunt. They stay with Kareem Hunt. I said this before the game. If you go to my VOD, they're gonna try to get everything they can out of Kareem Hunt. They go through him. They're going to send him out on receiving plays. They're going to have him rush the ball. If they stop him at the line, which I thought they were going to do, but the Chiefs said no, they're not going to, David, because they don't have a D lineman. They don't have D tackles. So we're going to run right up the middle. They don't have Fred Warner. And Nick Bosa's on the outside. And who's really on the other side to pressure the quarterback? Um, that's pretty much what they said. We're gonna keep going, keep going. We could see that the best receiver was Noah Gray, which is the tight end. He exploited. Um, they schemed up and exploited. 49 linebackers, and he had a really the four catches he had were four really good plays. Um, and that's pretty much it. Russell. Uh, there wasn't much. I mean, if you look at it and think back, the Chiefs weren't that great. They just find ways to win. They didn't really play that great. If you look at the stat line, the top receiver had 66 yards on the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Um, but the special teams is really bad. Turnovers, Brock Purdy. This is similar to last game. Last year he had that one game. He threw 4 interceptions in the game. But these interceptions were so bad because it was nobody over. And it was some interceptions he threw. There were not even anybody in the vicinity. Uh, and this is what happens when you have um, that quarterback with limited ceiling. I've always talked about this. Should have kept Trey Lance. Now you have, if Brock Purdy goes down, the season is completely over. It's not even. There's nothing else they can do. They could have had a backup quarterback because Shanahan was afraid and his ego got in the way of everything, and he didn't want to hear some of the Trey Lance fans, say, "Oh, Trey Lance, start Trey, start Trey." Because you know what would happen right now? They last game, yes, they would have said it too, but this year they would be screaming it. They'd be screaming, "Start Trey Lance." They would be screaming it from the rooftops, "Start Trey Lance." And they didn't want to hear that because, now they got a terrible backup quarterback. And so they don't have to worry about the fans saying, "Hey, put Allen in there." You know what I mean? They're not going to say that. I guarantee you, if Trey Lance was on their bench right now, and they would say, so this was politics why they got rid of him. They were playing politics. They didn't want to. He could have easily been the backup quarterback. They didn't want to do that. Where everybody knows he beat out, um, you know, um, turnover machine, who's actually playing pretty decent in Minnesota, Sam Donald. But the top player receiving, George Kittle, 6 receptions, 92 yards, right? Brandon Ayuk, well, more on him in a second. Leonard Floyd actually played okay, but he's an average player. Um, Nick Bosa still played good. He was able to get some QB pressures. I think he got 3 QB pressures. Even though he got a half a sack, but he was able to do something. This is a wake-up call for 49ers. Another interesting fact that happened was this. On the play where two of the interceptions that Brock Purdy threw, they were two rookie Chiefs corners that were thrown into the game that had less than 15 snaps. I'm gonna repeat that again. The two of Brock Purdy's interceptions were against 2 rookie corners that were not even starters, that were put into the game that had less than 15 snaps of experience in the NFL, and they each got an interception. So that pretty much tells me what I need to say. I knew all along. I've been knowing for the last 2 years. I just been sitting back and watching. I said, this is going to explode. I can see the egos with the buddy. They always say sometimes it's not good to, you got to learn how to mix business with pleasure. And Shanahan likes to be the friends with his players. That led to Brandon Ayuk being out of the doghouse because he didn't really hang with them and wasn't that type of player. And they still really don't get along to this day. And that's why I really think there was something behind when they were in practice that one time behind something simple. Shanahan, that was, hey, it could have been easy. Hey, man, go change your shorts. You're not supposed to have them be out here. Opposed to, hey, change your damn shorts. Blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. There's a difference in how you talk to somebody. So I really feel that way. Let's go into a better publication. Better stat line. Let's go to CBS Sports. Let's see here. All right. Brock Purdy went 17 for 31 for 212 yards. He had 2 TD runs because he's trying to get the $60 million contract, and he's really not worth $60 million. Maybe 15 to 20. Maybe. I wouldn't pay him at all. I wouldn't pay him at all. I'd rather draft a rookie quarterback with elite talent, and then go a year or two and have a franchise quarterback. But they're gonna pay him because 49ers are stupid. So they're gonna pay him like a franchise quarterback, and then you're gonna see that explode again, just like what they did with Jimmy Garoppolo. Probably still paying Jimmy Garoppolo to this day, more likely. They like to pay their players who's not on the team anymore. Highly disappointed. Not shocked. Ricky Purcell, who they should have drafted in the 3rd round like he was projected. And I actually made a post. Go check out my NFL VOD. Everything I've said, everything has happened, has literally been on my VOD. That's the funny thing. While you watch these other 49er creators who talk about X's and try to sound extra intelligent, I don't do that. I just make everything in layman's term and break it down to you. If you go to my VOD, I've been saying stuff about Brock Purdy. I've been saying the same thing. While they were still winning, I was still saying it. If you go to my thing, I was talking about Brandon Ayuk. I was talking about a thing about how they should probably trade Debo and get some players for him. Because where was he today? Where was he, right? You paying him all that money, right? Everybody's so fixated on Brandon Ayuk. But where was he? I seen Trent Williams get thrown on his butt multiple times on this game. I've seen it. I seen it. You know, and then the team is exploding. I'm telling you, like literally. And then Williams, one thing I never seen him do. I seen some stuff after the game, but one thing I've never seen him throw punches at a helmet. I don't care who started it. It doesn't matter. You know not to do that. And then now your team is trying to get back into it. You know you're playing the Super Bowl champs. And what do? They literally, he goes in there and goes in for himself. It's the type of egos on his team. Not to mention, he was holding out a training camp. Why is everybody not mentioning that he was holding out? He did the same thing Ayuk did. And you guys gave him a hard time when he did that the same thing with Ayuk. Um, so, but now, everything is different because Trent Williams, you gotta understand, Trent Williams is 30 something years old. There comes times where linemen have an expiration date. You know, um, I really think, what do you got, 1 2 years left maybe? Being at elite level, if he still is at that level, because he keeps getting hurt a lot. And he was definitely not a factor in this game. 49ers running game didn't look that great at all. That was their identity, was a run first team with the play action to open up the offense. They got away from that, their identity. They went and went. They never. One thing I always said, and I've been saying this, is that they need to take care of their line in the trenches, D line, O line. I was gonna say that maybe Robert Saleh coming back could help. I don't even think that could help. They're so limited with talent wise. They got well, they didn't get rid of them, but their best asset was the Adam Peters, and who went to Washington, and I think Wishing went to Washington with them too. What is his name? I can't think of his name, but he was in the front office too. But Adam Peters was their best asset in the front office. He was really good at building talent, and whenever he went, he did a very good job of finding players and drafting players and what have you. You don't have that. So now you have a year without Adam Peters, and you're kind of seeing the results talent-wise on building the team. They're trying to re-sign every player that's a star, and Brandon Ayuk should have been the player they should have signed. They shouldn't have signed Trent Williams. I would not sign him for all that money. They're paying him like he's 26 years old. Ricky Porcel looked like a mediocre wide receiver, though he's working things back. So I'm not going to go too hard on him because the man was shot. So I can't really, I'll get a couple games go by, maybe 2 more weeks, give him 2 more weeks. If he looks the same, then he may not be the same again. So the 49ers may need to start thinking about bringing in another receiver. Devontae Adams was actually a really good choice to do that. And they actually could have pulled that player card, but they didn't do that. They could have swapped Debo out for Devontae Adams, I would exactly would have did that. I would have kept Ayuk. I would have swapped him out. Um, Now they're in a dilemma. What are they going to do next year? Are they going to give the world to a mediocre quarterback and pay him $60 million? Or are they going to say, you know what? Who's a free agent out there? Who is a free agent out there? Let's look at QBs that are free agents next year. Could they right their own wrong? Could they right their own wrong? Could Shanahan right their own wrongs? So there is a good quarterback out there. This guy right here. Ryan Shanahan. Ryan Tannehill is actually a free agent right now. Believe it or not. So as far as linemen, David Bakari, I know he's having problems with his agent, but maybe think about bringing some of these guys in. Dwayne Brown, some good linemen here. Some decent guards here. I'm just saying, you know, they don't have a ton of money, but still, these guys are probably you're 8 games in the season now, so they're probably not going to be as issue of it. D linemen, tackles, right end, edge rushers, maybe a Randy Gregory or a Takimo Ture might be a good option. Maybe Hassan Ridgeway would be a good option. Heck, there's even Mike Purcell right there. Devin White, linebacker. Corners. Oh my gosh. You got Xavier Howard, Patrick Peterson. You got some really good. Hold on, let's go into 2025. 2025 NFL free agents 2025. Quarterback. Hey, there you go, Sam Donald. No, just playing. Do not get him. this good right now. It's not gonna last. Zach Wilson. Well, this guy is going to be a free agent. Trey Lance is going to be a free agent next year. Here's a guy that you gave up on, right? He's going to be very cheap, right? That's why the 49ers didn't want to keep him, right? He's too expensive, right? Now he's making $1 million a game base salary. Yes, he got his little bonus, but he's not going to make that next year. So Trey Lance is available. It's a guy that knows the offense, right? Maybe he didn't get he got a bad rap, right? He got a bad rap, and he didn't get a chance to really prove to you guys because you guys are so dead set on win, which is cool. I get it. You were caught up in the tailwind of trying to get to the Super Bowl, but the whole time I kept seeing it say, no, you need an elite quarterback. Very rarely in today's NFL, you need an elite quarterback. Most likely a dual threat quarterback. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is a dual threat quarterback. Did you just see what he did today? Did you see what he done? He's averaging 50 yards a game rushing. Yes, he is a dual threat quarterback. He may not design plays for him, but he still is a dual threat quarterback. Don't because he's so great with his other attributes, he's not a dual threat quarterback. You're out of your mind if you think he isn't. Trey Lance is available. It is available, and he would be very cheap. He would be very cheap. Just saying. Just saying. Gotta pay him $1 million to $3 million a year, right? He knows the offense. I always like the option of Marcus Mariota. I know he's 30, but if you're gonna, I just think if you're gonna get a quarterback, you can. I know he's with Washington right now, but you can get some value out of him. Kind of like a bridge quarterback, if you want to go that way. Um, but the best quarterback out of all these guys here with the most upside, what do you know? It's this guy. Trey Lance is your most upside quarter out of all these quarterbacks, has the most upside out of everybody. It's Trey Lance. He's yet to be proven. He didn't get a fair shake. He got hurt in his third game, regardless of how you like him played in the third game or not. It doesn't matter. Most quarterbacks, they're starting a rookie, at least get two years or almost a whole season of games to evaluate to figure out who they are. And a lot of times they could be like Justin Fields, who are just on a shitty team, you know. So that's what I would do. Free agents, NFL. I don't want to go Cowboys. Let's go. Do you know the 49ers need to start doing exactly what I'm doing right now? And now I'm making an example. They need to start looking for the future. This is what the 49ers had an issue under Harbaugh. They didn't look to the future. They were so into winning and not thinking about the future. Oh, we're good. We have all this talent on our team. And it exploded, because Harbaugh was that good of a coach. And he knew how to get the best out of those players. And he knew how to fit them in the right scheme. We all know Shanahan has struggled in the red zone offense as well. But these are certain things that 49ers will not make the playoffs this year. I'm saying it. They will not make the playoffs. So right now they should be thinking about what can we do for next year. I know you don't do that over, but you start coming up with a plan B and a plan C. Okay, who do we need to get next year? If it gets worse, the 49ers end up in the top 5, they should trade up and get the Sanders boy as their quarterback. He's already played a several amount of snaps. Tom Brady is literally his mentor, and all the pedigree is there. They would probably win right away. They might win a Super Bowl the first year. But these are let's go over. We already went over quarterback. I said Trey Lance is your best option of free agent quarterbacks. You're going to need a left tackle, right? A lot of these tackles are getting older. Trent Williams is on the team, but you got to get a backup tackle. There's some good options here. Ronnie Staley would be one I would go after. Ronnie Staley. Right tackle is the Samoan kid, I believe. Poone's playing really well, but if he goes down, then what? You know what I mean? You always win it with linemen. You got to make sure. The biggest issue also is their D tackle position. DJ Jones is going to be a free agent. He comes from the Niners. They should probably never got rid of him. But DJ Jones, Quentin Jefferson, are some of the players that come in line. you can plug in there. They'll probably give you a good but and then as far as corners, I don't know if they're gonna give Ward money anymore. But Ward is gonna be 29 years old, and here he is right here. He's 29. He's fallen off a little bit. Um, he's gonna get paid. Don't get me wrong, but uh, probably should start evaluating corners right away. Um, some of these corners I'm looking at right now, a little bit of age. Um, Brian Murphy, DJ Reed would be a great option. Bringing him back into the fold, bringing back DJ Reed back. He knows the defense. Obviously, that's why he played under Saleh. Saleh's defense is very similar. This is where I'm at with the 49ers right now. I'm not at talking the whole time about how terrible they did. We already know that. I've already addressed it. Okay, what is plan B? What are we going to do for next year? Because we're not good enough to win a Super Bowl. We're not even close enough to win a Super Bowl. We probably is about a 50-60% chance, 40 to 60, depending on how they do next week. If they lose next week against Dallas, which could happen, they are not making the playoffs. They'll be 3-5, right? So just to get 500, they would have to win 2 games to hit 500. Now the NFC West is not the strongest division in the NFC. We know that, right? But we do know that what's Arizona's record? Let's look at Arizona. Arizona record. Let's look at the standings. Let's go somewhere else. Standings. NFL. Here's my spelling, guys. Let's go here. So we have. Okay, this is the NFC West. Seahawks is in first place. They're in first place right now. Did they win today? They beat the Patriots today. No. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Falcons bad. They have to play the Bills. It's probably going to be a loss. And then the Rams and the Seahawks are going to be tied. But they're going to be tied. And whoever wins this game will be the first place in the NFC. Let me look back. Let's look at Phoenix, the Cardinals. Man, this division is absolutely ass. I'm not gonna lie. This defense is very bad. Let's look at the Cardinals schedule. They play the Chargers tomorrow. Chargers are pretty decent. They're not all that great, but they're good enough to probably beat the Cardinals. They are playing at home. Cardinals gonna have to play the Dolphins, so the Cardinals could be potentially, yeah. So Cardinals are. So the division is going to be between San Francisco and Seattle. It's going to be between these two. No one in this division is going. There's not going to be a second team like last year. Our third team that slides in. There's only going to be one team in the NFC West that's going to make it to the playoffs. 49ers play the Cowboys and play Buccaneers. Buccaneers are not a bad team at all. They're a playoff team. Seattle, this game. If the Cowboys if the Cowboys show up and play like their talent, they're gonna do really well. They'll win. But the Cowboys look like they have a bye. They play the 49ers. Barely beat them. They got their butts kicked by what's your name? So the NFC West, 49ers still gonna contend throughout the season for the NFC West. Both the teams are just that bad. It's gonna be between Seattle and let me see the 49ers schedule. They have the Cowboys. They're gonna lose that game. Buccaneers. 49ers could potentially lose 3 out of the next 4 games. They're gonna win this game. I don't think they're gonna beat the Seahawks are that bad. They'll lose this. It's gonna be 49ers might win a division, but they're gonna be early out if they make the playoffs. It's gonna be all up to what Seattle's gonna do this year. Cowboys, they're probably gonna lose.
Fossabit says, 90-second ad break now running. Thank you for your support.
Then you have the Bucks, 49ers. They got to travel cross country, so they're probably gonna lose. So let's say 49ers go 2-4. Best case scenario.
I am a Savage creator says, silence support the stream up and set your notifications peasants. Discord IIS now up, go join the squad to network and work together, link.
So at best, let's say they're 2-4, right? So now 49ers are, well, they're 3-4 right now, right? They'll be 5 and 6. They'll be 5 and, hold on, 5, 4, there's 3 and 4. So 2, 6, so there's 6. So it'll be 5 and 6. There'll be 5 and 6 record, right? And then you have the Bills. They play the Bills. Okay, the Bears are pretty good this year. So now you're looking at all these teams you have to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is probably why I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. Then they have to play the Dolphins, and then the Lions. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, and that are really good. That are pretty good to good this year, and they're not very good. They're a depleted team. So let's check on Seattle's schedule. They gotta play the Bills. That's a loss. Rams. That's a win. 49ers are probably gonna lose that one because they never play good against the 49ers. Seattle, against the Cardinals, they'll win that one. They're gonna play the Jets. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. They play the Cardinals. Then the last 6 games they play the Cardinals twice. Then they play the Rams. They play the Jets. They're gonna lose against the Packers and the Vikings. They might win one of these out, depending on what Seattle team will show up. I actually think Seattle's not a bad team. I just think they caught some bad breaks. I don't think they're that great either. I think they're better than the 49ers though, as far as coaching, because they don't have as much talent as the 49ers do. But it's going to be between, here you go, the last 2 games right here. Pretty much decide, but let's say they win this one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say they're winning 6 games. They already won. How many games have the Seahawks won? Seattle's, I think, is 3-4, right? No, they're 4-3. So they'll be 10 and 7. There's your champions. It's the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I know y'all don't want to hear this. If you're a 49er fan or whatever, or a supporter, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I always think about, okay, I've seen it over the years. What's plan B? What's plan C? Let's think ahead. Let's look at these other teams' schedule. Let's think about free agency, because Apparently, the 49ers are not getting it done anymore in free agency. They're not getting it done as far as developing young talent. They're not getting it done as far as drafting young talent. They draft receivers who get hurt a lot. And let's not talk about the shot incident. I'm glad Ricky Purcell is good now. But let's think about before he got shot. Was he really doing anything that great? No. It said he's not, he wasn't doing anything that great. He wasn't. Cowling was the guy in those practices where they were looking at, people were saying, oh man, Cowling's got an excellent speed. He's making some really good plays. But Cowling is inexperienced, and Shanahan doesn't trust rookie players a lot. So there you go. Because Jordan Mason's been there for what, 2 or 3 years? 3 years. And he barely trusts him with the ball. But anyway, so I just wanted to come on here. Let's find out what's going on with Brandon Ayuk. Before I get out of here, go ahead and find out. Get an injury update on him. So it looked kind of nasty, the injury. So let's. They said after the game, head coach Mike Shanahan dropped a concerning update regarding the Stars wide receiver's injury, telling reporters that the team is worried that he's sustained an ACL tear. On the play which Brandon Ayuk suffered the injury, he caught a pass from Brock Purdy as he dragged to the ground by Chiefs cornerback Trent McDuffie. At that moment, Connor Foods assist the tackle hit Ayuk straight in the knee, and the knee appeared to be bent awkwardly. It was down on the ground afterwards. Ayuk escorted the blue tent, was later seen carted off the field, which he quickly ruled out the remainder of the game. Okay, so he will go further testing. Certainly possible. Yeah, it looked like he's done for the season. Your best receiver is gone now. So, what is Shanahan going to do? Mike Daniels ain't there anymore. You know what I mean? No, what's his name? Mike. Is Mike? What's his name? Who's that? What's his name? It's Mike Daniels, right? Not Mike Daniels. What the heck is his name? My bad, you guys. Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald, right? Yeah, Mike McDonald. He's not there anymore. This guy was the guy that was helping Shanahan with his coaching. Before that was the head coach of Green Bay. Was also helping. Shanahan is really good, and they're really good at bringing coaches in to drop the plays, to be really good pass game coordinators, strategists, what have you. This guy was a freaking genius, and he went to Miami, and then before that was the head coach that became the head coach of Green Bay as well, and just kind of had fell off. One little I wish Brian Ayuk the best in his recovery, but it does not look that great. Let's look up Robert Saleh. Maybe Robert Saleh can help a little bit. Contract. Okay, here's the payout. Reveal payout Robert Saleh. They're gonna get rid of these damn ads. Okay, there we go. Okay, it says right here. He took charge of blah blah blah, and the things the deal coach is set for a juicy paycheck for the next 2 years. The deal earned him for $7 million a year. What does it say as far as he's reported set to bank a payout that could be $19,000 a day. Breaks down to $583,000 per month, or $134,000 a week. Uh, I'm looking at you guys. I'm reading this real quick to see if she's able, because I know some teams they can still coach. Okay, so let's look up. Is Robert Saleh available coach even if he just got fired? Let's look up an article by Niners Nation. Should stop asking. Sounds like a fan. You get these fan content creators. They don't. They're fanboyed up. You know what I mean? They're fanboyed up and all that stuff. You know, and they get they start acting weird. Like it's offensive if people are asking if Robert Saleh would be available because their team's defense is trash. Um, I'm reading you guys to see. Michael Silva reported that Saleh plans to prepare for the next hiring cycle, which should be demanded defensive coordinator. John Lynch on KBR symbol ECMO. This is what when asked about Saleh. John Lynch said, "Well, first of all, my heart goes off to Robert. I talked to him yesterday. He's a great friend and always will be with his family. They're great friends, and that was tough. He did a lot of good things there. Couldn't get over the hump and made a tough call. Robert's got a big family, and a lot of people that cared about him. His mind was on, and he'll be okay. He's a really good football coach and really good human being. He got a lot of ties here. We're not focused on that right now. Maybe you should focus on that right now, John Lynch, because your defense is terrible and you can't even get to the quarterback, and it's exposing your DBs. When we're just talking, just to say, man, sorry, Robert was going to be fine. He's going to find his way. I think he's planning to sit out this year. We're happy, so he can come back, but he's planning to just sit out. But he can come back if it's the deal is there, right? Where's he? He lives somewhere else. He doesn't live in the Bay Area. I forget where he lives at. I don't want to say like Arizona or some shit like that. uh, so there's your actual report from Lynch. Okay, so it's not a bad look. I don't know what they're talking about. These guys sound really dumb. No disrespect to them, but it sounds really dumb that you're saying that it looks a bad look to hire the guy that made your defense number one in the league. Yeah, that makes no sense at all. But I just want to check in those two things. So Saleh can come back, and Brandon Ayuk is out probably for the rest of the year, and now he's going to have to restart his recovery process, similar to what Dre Greenlaw is doing right now. Um, that's my thoughts on everything. You know, start thinking for next year. Have a plan B, because it could get worse. We'll find out next week how worse it's going to get. 49ers have 7 teams left that are highly competitive in NFC Oh, in the NFL because there are a couple. They have the Bill, I think Bills, something like that. So do you have one or two AFC teams that are competitive that are a part of that schedule, but the rest are the NFC teams that are really good this year. And I think Dallas is more dangerous than Kansas City is, you guys. Dallas is way more dangerous. They have way more elite level of weapons. Way more. They're way more dangerous. And if I'm gonna tell you, if Dak Prescott gets hurt in this game, I hope that doesn't happen. And let's say they throw Trey Lance in there, or they throw Trey Lance in there for some read option plays. Oh, you guys are gonna be sick if, after that game. But anyway, let's be positive. So I'm gonna go back and think positive and say they have a chance to beat Dallas. It's not looking very bright because I think Dallas is more dangerous than Kansas City. I would say Kansas City coaches they have way better coaches. They know how to scheme better get the best out of their players. Talent wise, Dallas is far superior. Dallas, the Eagles, Detroit, those are teams that are have high level rosters. Um, and that they have talented rosters. Other teams, like a Washington, they have an elite quarterback, and they know how to scheme. They have really good coaching. Who's been to the Super Bowl?